So this is the last section of adverbs. This section, I try to teach it so you can understand a lot of ways that we say things as native speakers, because it's very funny to me. Thai say things one way.
Yeah.
It is really straightforward. There's like a lot of ways because we sometimes mean different things and we use adverbs. So I'll give you an example. When I was ordering, I might have been at 7-Eleven. Oh, I was ordering food and I was like, I want a little bit more, right? Like say if I want some extra sauce.
Yeah.
Like you would say perm or you would say nitnoy,
Yes.
which means I want a little.
Yes.
But in English, we'd be like, you want a lot or you want a little, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of ways because we are very expressive, okay? So let's look at this. And the way we're going to first break this down, and I really want to talk a lot. I'll tell you why after the lesson, because I really want you to understand how to use them to better express yourself like a native speaker. Okay, so the first one we're going to focus on the three main, it's really four, but the three main adverb intensifiers. The first one we have is an emphasizer, okay? So if you look, we have, for example, I really don't believe him. He literally wrecked his mother's car. Do you understand this sentence? Literally.
No.
Do you know what literally means?
Literally.
Or like literal?
No.
Okay, if I say literal, it's the same as almost saying first verbatim. Not as an adverb, but if I say he is literal, right, it means by those exact words. Do you know verbatim?
Again?
Do you know what verbatim means? You ever heard of the word verbatim? Verbatim. It's pronounced like this. It's like ver, bay, and I'm American, so I'm gonna put dumb. Verbatim. Yeah, you can put your T here. Verbatim. Verbatim means literally word for word. So let me give you exact. It's going to take a second to explain this, but I want to make sure you understand. Verbatim is when I said, if I quote you verbatim, I'm repeating exactly what you said. So if you said, "Oh, I love chocolate ice cream," I said, "Well, what she said verbatim was, I love chocolate ice cream." Do you understand?
Yeah, it's like a repeat.
Word for word, the exact words.
Okay.
No paraphrasing.
Okay.
Now that's literal without the adverb. Okay. When we use literally, verbatim means the same thing as literal. Okay. When we use literally, we want to really emphasize this is what happened. Like this really happened. Okay. So when we look at this sentence here, he literally wrecked his mother's car. I'm pretty much saying he really wrecked his mother's car. Like he destroyed the car. It's done, right? And if you look, I use literally to emphasize this was really bad.
Yeah.
I could say you literally are the best student I have. What do I mean?
Very, very best. I'm very, very best.
Exactly. And so when we use this, I'm going to put a star, because when we use this, we use it a lot of native speakers to really mean, I really, really mean this.
Okay.
Okay? We're going to practice this in a second, okay? Another emphasizes, because an emphasize is really just like saying really or to really push an idea, right? Okay? She simply ignored me.
Simply ignored me.
Do you know what simply means?
Simple.
It's close. It's an adverb of simple. So what am I saying? She simply ignored me.
Nothing special.
Close. When I use it this way, I'm using it to say, she simply ignored me. That's all she did. She just ignored me. Does it make sense?
Oh, okay.
I went, oh, she's simply ignoring me.
Yeah.
I could say, my student Friday simply didn't come to class. He just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not to care, that's all they did.
Okay.
Okay? When I use it as a native speaker, I kind of use simply. She's simply ignoring me. Like, I'm saying almost like without care or emotion. Okay? That's kind of like what I'm saying. I'm kind of saying like without care or emotion, okay? They are going to be late for sure. What's that mean?
With confidential.
With confidence. Be careful.
With confident.
And yes, for sure means like guaranteed.
Yeah.
Real quick, while you're speaking, what's the difference between confidential and confidence?
Confidential and confident. Confident is a noun. Confidential is adjective.
Be careful. No. If I say this document is confidential, what am I saying?
Oh, it's not a very important document.
Important and private.
Yeah, and private. You
Okay.
cannot share with other people.
Good job. Yeah. So that's emphasizers. We have amplifiers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Amplifiers. The teacher completely rejected her proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Amplifiers when we trying to take a verb and say, she really, really did this verb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Emphasize like that she literally wrecked my mother's car. I'm trying to say, with this verb, it was bad, right? Amplifier is trying to say like, this is a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. These are very similar.
Yeah.
And the focus on these two is not too big of a deal as much as the third one. Okay. So, example, the teacher completely rejected her proposal. What does that mean?
It's like there is nothing accepted.
Yeah, like she really, okay,
Yeah.
correct. What do I say? I absolutely refuse to attend any more faculty meetings.
For sure. It's like I will not go. I will not attend the faculty meeting.
No matter what.
No matter
No matter what happens, I'm not going. Okay?
Okay.
They heartily endorsed the new restaurant.
They are partly and drop the new restaurant. Like very very. I guess it's like very very willing.
Yes, very
truly.
willing and passionate and heartily.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you see, if I say they endorsed the new restaurant, it's no big deal. That's what happened. This one, the meaning is still similar. I refuse to attend any more faculty meetings. This absolutely doesn't really change that much, right? But partly here, it's a whole different sentence. I can say, they endorsed the new restaurant. They heartily endorsed the new restaurant. I'm saying with more meaning.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? We know this city. Like I said, we know this city well.
Very, very good.
Exactly. Very good, okay? Any questions on these first two sections?
I wanted to go with them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I so wanted to go with them.
Really want?
Exactly.
Okay.
Be careful, because so is really funny, because it has so many, it has so many meanings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can mean many. So can be like, I don't care. So can be like really. We use it for a lot of different meanings. This one, I really wanted to go with him, right?
Okay.
Okay. So let's look at the next one. I put down as a cultural difference. This is something I really notice with ties. So be careful. Especially right now, I have a student. After I meet her today, I'm coaching her. She's getting her PhD in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things I see Thais do a lot, and it's a very Thai culture thing. And sometimes it's really good to do, but you just got to know when, okay? These are called downtoners, okay?
Yeah.
The two things we're going to focus today are downtoners and negatives, okay, with adverbs, okay? So, if I say, I kind of like this college, what do I mean?
It's like actually I like this kind of college.
Close, not quite.
I'm quite.
Close, not quite. If we use kind of, the reason why I'm using kind of, I'm actually trying to let you know I don't like it, I don't dislike it. In between.
Yeah.
It's like, don't like, so, it's okay, kind of, like. It's under like. I'm using this to kind of downgrade it from liking it, right?
Like kind of.
Yeah, I'll show you this way. Let's say we do like.
Yeah.
Then I do.
Kind of.
Oh, sorry. Kind of. Okay. Then I might do okay. I might do so. I might do not like. Okay. I might do it that way. And it kind of gives you an identifier. And if you look at this sentence, this is another example like Hartley. If I said, I like this college, I don't mean that, right?
Yeah.
Taj was, oh, I like this college. I'm using this because I want to really let you know I don't like it. I like it a little bit, but not really. You understand?
Yeah.
And I could say, if I say I don't really like this college, that's wrong.
Yeah.
If I say I like this college a little bit, still means something different.
Yeah, okay. If like for example, I kind of like Thai tea.
And what do you mean by when you say that?
I mean, actually, I didn't really like it, but it's not my most favorite beverage. But because based on the menu, this is okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good job. Wow. Good job.
Yay.
Perfect. Because this is tricky to use sometimes for Thais. Because like I said, Thais are very direct, right?
Okay.
Either you'll say I like or I don't like.
Yeah.
Joe sort of felt betrayed by his sister. What I mean by that?
Joe, like guilty, a little bit guilty.
Do you know what betrayed means?
Betray is like make something bad for his sister.
The other way around.
Oh yeah.
Be careful.
His sister
Did something bad to him,
betrayed
right?
him. Yeah.
So his sister betrayed. He felt betrayed. Joe sort of felt betrayed by his sister. What does that mean? Sort of felt. I'll tell you, these two mean the same thing. Sort of and kind of.
Both have two meaning.
They mean the same thing.
Oh.
Kind of and sort of really mean the same thing. I can say I sort of like this college. Joe kind of felt betrayed by his sister. They're the same.
Can do the same. Okay.
Okay. So when I say Joe sort of felt betrayed by his sister,
It's not a good feeling.
yeah. But remember, we need to focus about he felt, right? It's supporting felt. It's telling me how he felt, sort of. What it means is he didn't feel, this would be portrayed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Betrayed would be here. Is just under feeling betrayed. Like he felt betrayed a little bit, right?
Not too bad.
Yeah, not completely, right? So anytime we use kind of or sort of, think of it as meaning not completely, okay? His mother mildly disapproved his action. Do you know what mildly means?
To say, not really, not not very appreciate that, but also not rejected.
A little bit less. You're close. When I use Molly as a native speaker, I'm saying his mother. Molly disapproved is actually his mother disapproved just a little. Just a little. Okay? That's what Molly means, like just a little, okay? We can improve on this to some extent. This is a very important one for you to use vocabulary. Do you know what some extent means?
Further,
The opposite.
in some area.
Some extent means to this point.
Oh,
Okay? I can say to some extent. You hear this a lot.
yes.
If you said, "Oh, Thailand is so much better than the U.S.," I say I can agree to some extent.
Oh,
What does it mean?
it's just some point.
Some points, right? I agree with you to this point, but not all the way,
Okay.
right? So we can improve on this to some extent. We can improve to a point, but not completely improve.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not totally disagree or agree.
Yeah. So what's this one mean? We can improve on. Let's say we can improve your English to some extent. What would I say?
Your English is not totally bad or not totally good, but just moderate. It can.
Be careful. We can improve.
Yeah. You, for example, your speaking skills can be improved.
Low, really close. You're getting it. Yeah, it's like me saying we can improve your English to some extent. We can improve it to this level, but no better. Only
Okay.
to this level. Okay.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like when you use some extent, it's almost like saying not completely, but to a limit. To limit. Okay, makes sense. That one's a little tricky to use, but I underline it because try to listen for it. We use it a lot. I think I'm gonna give you a Business Insider article, and you'll see to some extent a lot of these idioms. Okay.
Yeah, this structure, I'm quite interested in this structure because when I read a novel, there is some kind of credit, like not completely, but
Yeah, we use it a lot because, like I said, if you look at all of these adverbs, we emotionally we might mean something not quite like we say not quite what we're trying to say. As where I noticed it, like I said, as I was learning Thai, you all are just so direct, very direct. For us, nothing is really direct. We're very indirect when we speak. So we have a lot of adverbs. You know, I try to wait because in order to really be able to use them, you have to really kind of understand English and know what you feel, right? So, go ahead.
Could you give another example of this structure?
Some extent.
No, I mean not
Completely, but to a limit.
Yes.
You know, when I say that, I mean it's to some extent, right? The meaning.
Yes.
So I could say, to some extent, I would say Bangkok is just like New York. What do I mean?
They have the same feature in something, but not at all.
Not completely.
Not completely.
Yes. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that are similar, but they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
And let me ask you another one. What if I said, like, I'm trying to use one that's totally different. I could say, I can say owning a company in Thailand has some advantages to some extent.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
What am I saying?
It's like to be the entrepreneurship.
Yes, yeah.
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, to be an entrepreneur in Thailand, you can gain the you can be you can gain benefit.
Or you can say you can have some advantages.
You can have some advantage
Okay.
from that, but you have but at the same time you have to take risk so maybe disadvantages.
No, you're 100%. Yeah, you can say you have to take some risk, so there may be some disadvantages. 100% correct. Okay. This one is tricky. Oh, the boss almost quit after that. We love almost, right?
Not completely quit.
Came close. Not even that. When we say almost, it's like saying he was about to, but did not. Okay. Like came, when we say almost quit, when we use it as an adverb, we're trying to say he came close to doing the adverb, but did not do it. I tell people all the time, I wasn't going to live in Thailand. I almost moved to Colombia. What do I mean?
Actually, you plan to move to Colombia, but not yet. You change your mind to stay here instead.
Right?
Yeah.
I was about to move to Colombia, but I stayed in Thailand. That's correct, okay? This one is great once you figure out how to use it, okay? The school was all but ruined by the storm, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the grammatical way to use this. But let's first go over the meaning. When we say all but, in this time, we're supporting ruin, right? If this is ruin, all but is as close as you can get without being completely ruined. Do you understand? Okay. What if I said this? I've all but given up trying to learn Thai. Yeah. If I say I've all but given up trying to learn Thai, what am I saying?
You learn Thai quite a lot, but not completely.
Not quite. I have all but given up trying to learn Thai. Okay, so let's look at this. All but, this is my adverb. What's my verb?
Give up.
Yeah, giving up, right? So this is my verb, my verb. Okay, so all but is telling me how I'm doing this verb, right? So give up is here. All but would be here, right under it. Okay, so that means I'm really close to giving up, but I haven't given up yet. Do you understand?
It means you didn't give up already.
Yes, I haven't given up, but
almost.
Yes, and it's a little bit. If this was given up right here, I'm gonna put given up. This is almost. Oh, let me do this. If that's given up, this would be all but is here. And I'm gonna use numbers so you can see how close I'm talking about. Let's say given up was 3. Let's say all but is 2.9. Almost would be like 2. Okay? And then let's say doing well, let's say doing well in something, would be 0. Like I'm not even close to giving up. It would be 0.
Okay.
Okay. And let's say 3 was the giving up. That's the top. Okay. Just to show you, all but is as close as you can get to your verb. Okay. So when they say the school was all but ruined by the storm, what are they saying?
It's it was destroyed so much, but then maybe not completely 100% ruined.
Correct.
There is some, how do you say, some spots.
Yeah, maybe like the roof is still there.
Yeah.
There's no windows.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
yes, everything but a little bit, right?
Okay.
So what I want you to try to do now, let's try to use it in a structured sentence because it's tricky.
Okay.
Give me an example using all but.
Okay. Just for example, okay, I was all but had the first honor.
Yeah, you could say I all but had the first honors, which would mean you won everything but first honors. Right? You understand? Try. Give me another one.
Okay, my health was all but damaged. No. Health should not use damage as verb, right?
No, you use it.
Okay.
It was all but damaged.
My health was all but damaged by the work.
Perfect. You said my health was all but damaged by the work, which means everything was really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
Tough.
This is a really good one to use when you're trying to say something was really close.
Yeah.
Okay? Any questions? Any questions on it? Okay. So let's look at the next one. I can never get this thing to stop. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, so let's practice it. Now, these are adverbs too. These sentences, I want to show you, especially, it's really interesting when you just add one article. The answer changes, okay?
Okay.
So to practice this, I'm going to say the sentence, and then I want you to figure out these have all more than one answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Shanghai is blank bigger than Belgium. Oh, excuse me, Beijing. Okay, which one do you think?
Much.
Okay, correct. Shanghai is much bigger than Belgium. Okay. What's another one?
Far.
Okay, correct. It's a few more. And I'm going to tell you grammatically, there's some things that are not properly right.
Not?
Shanghai is a lot bigger than
Beijing.
Beijing, right? Shanghai is, I would say as a native speaker, by far bigger than
Beijing.
Beijing. I don't know why I want to say Belgium. Shanghai is easily bigger than Beijing. I would almost say that as a native speaker too, right? And when I checked this says this is not a correct answer, but you will still even hear native speakers say that. So this one's tricky.
So all answer is correct.
You could hear, but be careful grammatically. They're saying that when I checked this, it said this one and that one are not. But I know me. If I'm speaking, I was saying, if I really mean this, do you know what by far means?
By far. That's not true.
By far means the top with nobody close second. If I say your English is by far the best English in Thailand, what do I mean?
No one was me.
Yeah, you're the best. No one's close. So when I compare two things, and you look, when I say by far, what do I mean in this sentence? Shanghai is by far bigger than Beijing.
It means Shanghai is very, very big when comparing to Beijing. Beijing is very small.
Good, exactly. I want to use this to say there's a big difference. Yay! Okay.
So,
Good job. And we use this again to show there's a big separation.
okay.
So we look at the second one. Shanghai is a blank bigger city than Beijing. And all we did was added an article.
Because you have city. So you have to article. If easily bigger than city, no. Much bigger city than Beijing.
Correct. Shanghai is a much bigger city than Beijing.
Shanghai is
Okay. Was
a far bigger.
correct. Good job. Shanghai is a far bigger city than Beijing.
Yeah.
Shanghai is a much bigger city.
Yeah.
That's correct. Any other ones?
Easily
No, that's it. Just these two.
by
Let's check it.
far.
No, by far wouldn't work. Shanghai is by far. It wouldn't if there was no
Oh,
Okay. London is blank the biggest city in the European Union. London is
a great deal. The biggest city.
yeah,
Normally, I use only London is the biggest city.
London is the biggest city.
Much the biggest.
So think about what's the verb we're using here.
Is
Okay, so we're trying to really emphasize that it's whatever we're trying to support, which is the adjective, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Is a lot. The biggest city. Is much biggest. Nothing.
By far.
Is by far.
London is by far the biggest city in the European Union. Okay.
Okay.
If we say this one, London is a lot, then I'm asking for descriptions. London is a lot older.
London is a lot bigger.
Yeah, you're here and we use a lot of times with a comparative, not a superlative. Does it make sense?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So I would never say London is a lot.
By far.
Yeah, see, kind of.
This is superlative.
Yeah, we're using it. Yeah, this is superlative, right? So look, London is easily the biggest city in the European Union. When I say easily here, do you know what I mean?
It's like it's very easily comparing because it's very big different.
Yes, these mean exactly the same thing.
Okay.
London is easily the biggest city, which means it's not even close, right? Okay, the last one. London is the biggest city in the European Union.
By far.
Correct. That's another one.
Easily.
Technically, you can use that. London is the biggest city in the European Union. Easily. Right? Now, this is grammatically not too correct, but we'll still use it because of the way we place our adverbs, right?
Yeah.
These would two have the same meaning, right? Okay. And any other one? London is the biggest city in the European Union.
A lot. No?
Because remember, superlative.
Oh. A great deal. Far.
There's no more. I'm just serious. London is the biggest city in the European Union. A great deal.
No.
The London is is the biggest city in the European Union. Far.
No.
Yeah, right? Much. Those don't work. And a lot of times, the reason why I ask you, because sometimes they simply won't work. I could have went more detail, but you would need something to support far. Okay? Or much, to have here. Because this is at the end, they don't work so well. Okay? Any questions?
So the answer of this one is just by far easily?
Yeah. And it's really by far.
Okay.
Easily still a little weird, but you'll hear us say that.
Yeah.
Okay? So now let's look at negatives. This is really a big deal. And I think this is great if you figure out how to use it. Negatives is when we use a sentence and we use an adverb instead of using no or not a lot of times, okay? You'll see some of these, we still use never, we still have no, but it's no supported something, okay? And we use this to kind of like a down toner, but more negative, like more down. Okay? So if I said, hardly had I got into bed when the telephone rang, what do I mean? Do you remember the difference between hardly and hard?
Yes. Hardly is mean not always just long Larry is Larry.
Like really or a little bit, right?
Literally.
Anything. Yeah. Hard is like very, hardly is the opposite, right?
Yes.
So in this one, if I say, hardly had I got into bed when the telephone rang.
There is a few times. No.
Really close. Continue.
There is a few times that I got into bed and the telephone rang.
Very close. Just don't use few. Use little.
Oh.
Do you know the difference?
Yeah. Few is have to follow with the cultural noun.
Well, I could say that. You could say this. You could say there were a few times with an S where I had gotten to bed and the phone rang. That means it happened to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, different times. If you say there was a little bit of time, right, or a little time passed, then I'm talking about amount, portion.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Few is kind of like dealing with the number of something, the number of times. And what happens with ties, you got to be careful because this time you're right. If you put the S, I understand. If you take the S out, I'm gonna get confused because this one a little bit of time, a little time with no S. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is correct. When I say hardly had I begun to learn Thai before I wanted to quit. Right? That means just a little bit of time passed and then a phone rung in the sentence. Okay? And you also could, I guess, say, I had just got into bed when the phone rang. Right? Right? The reason why I would use this differently, use hardly, is you're trying to say, man, as soon as I got in, the phone rang. Does that make sense? Try using a sentence.
Hardly had I got into bed before taking a shower.
That's cheating. That's cheating. We'll practice it. This is also a good one because you'll see this when you're reading novels. They like to use that to really push something just happened. We'll practice it. Okay? Never is easy. Never had she seen such a beautiful sight before. When I use never like this, because I could say she had not seen a sight beautiful like this before. But when I say never, what am I trying to emphasize?
Nothing, just what? No. It means
I give you an example. My friend, this is a true example. My friend, when he first came to visit me, he came to visit me in 2015, and I was teaching in Central World. So he's waiting for me to finish teaching. So he goes to Paragon. He goes through the parking lot. He's like, he comes up, my God, never have I seen so many Ferraris. He's like, Ty's are so rich, oh my gosh. When we use like never had I seen, never have I done, never had I something, here I'm saying in all the world, in my life, I've never seen this before. Like, wow.
okay.
Right? So never had she seen such a beautiful sight before.
Yeah.
Trying to say this was so beautiful, right? So when we use this, kind of saying this right here was just like so very beautiful. Sorry. Okay. And when we use never had I seen it, it's so beautiful, nothing's even close.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
The first time that I see it in my life.
Close, not quite. If you say, I could say this is the first time I've ever seen Thai people before. Then I said, never had I seen so many beautiful temples.
I have seen many temples
But none.
before, but this one is very, very beautiful.
Exactly. I've never seen one this beautiful.
Okay.
Okay? It's tricky. This is a great one because we use this a lot and it sounds good in your vocabulary. Seldom do we see such an amazing display of dance. What does seldom mean?
It's not often that it's done.
Exactly. Good job. So what's rarely?
It's quite the same as seldom.
Think of it this way. Seldom is here, rarely is here. Okay? And it comes from the way native speakers, what we're trying to express. If you probably look these words up on Google, they probably mean, they're going to give you the same definition. But as a native speaker, when I'm speaking, I'll use rarely because I'm trying to say really, really rare. Seldom, I mean kind of like sometimes, but I'm never sure when. Right? Okay.
Do I have to use very big bill? Or actually I can use really had you here.
Oh, it's tricky. And if you're reading a book, you might hear it in a book. Like, really had Harry Potter seen such beautiful music, right? Okay. We're using will in this term is to try to push. No matter how long you live, you will not hear this again. This is so beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't really particularly need it. It's just this sentence. And this is a good thing. I'm glad you asked. This is a good thing to say. If you want to say, oh my God, no matter how long you live, wherever you go, this is going to be the best you will ever see. Then you can put will.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Because it also means in future.
Exactly.
Okay.
So try to give me an example. Using really will.
Quite difficult.
Well, think of something, anything that's like very, very great. Tell me something very, very great.
Okay.
Tell me something great about Thailand.
Okay. Really, will you face such a traffic jam here?
Really, I guess you could say face such bad traffic. Really, will you ever see such bad traffic as you do in Bangkok? Perfect, and it's true. You will not ever, 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 ever. Okay. This one is hard to use, really hard to use. Only then did I understand why the tragedy had happened. Okay. It means finally at this point did I do this. Okay. Say, I'll give you a sentence. I never, this is a complete thing, and then I'm going to add this at the end, okay? I never understood Thai writing. It made no sense to me until I took a class for 1 year, and only then did I understand Thai. I said, you want to say it again? You understand?
It's like, if you had a stay here for 1 year, you can't understand.
Yes, it took a whole year. And I did this, and it's my fault. I probably should have made this sentence longer, but I didn't want to confuse you.
Yeah.
But whatever comes first, it wasn't until that point when this happened that I began to understand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I could say, in business, I could say, oh, my company was doing really bad. We weren't selling coffee until we did a promotion. And only then did we start making money.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. We use it, it's great to say, it wasn't until this happened did this happen.
Okay.
Okay?
For example, I would like to give an example.
Yeah.
After I got a master's degree, I think working with Eva right now is very tough for me in my life. No.
Okay, try it again. You were really close. You were really close. You said, it wasn't, you could say it wasn't until I got my MBA degree, your master's degree, that give me something that happened, and then you can say only then.
I realized that the real life is not beautiful.
Okay, so say it again.
Okay, after I got the master's degree and working with EY, only then I realized that the work life is not easy.
Exactly. It'll be perfect, right? You say, I got my master's degree and I got a job at Yvonne, and it was only then that I realized how important family life is. Right? That's exactly correct. Okay. Not only, but, okay?
Also,
Yeah. So, not only does he love chocolate and sweets, but he also smokes.
Smoke is mean?
Yes, smokes. Okay. So a lot of times we like to use this when we want to say there's more than one reason why we don't like something. So this is very negative. Okay.
Okay.
I can say, let's say I don't like Bangkok.
Okay.
And I want to give 2 reasons. I can say not only is there a lot of traffic in Bangkok, but it's also a lot of smog.
No.
You know what smog is? Smog is like when the air's not clean and you look up. Like China has a lot of smog, right? So try to use not only.
Yeah. So can I use? So we should not use not only but in positive way.
No, it's no. Give me an example. We normally use it in negative.
Yeah. Actually, I think I also use it in.
Give me an example.
Positive, like for example, he not specialized. Not only the computer skill, but he also specialized in data.
I just say, that's okay. I guess you say he not only specializes in computer skills, but he also knows Java.
Yeah.
That's okay. I guess you can use it positive. Okay. So, but you know how to use it, right? You use one and one. Okay. No sooner.
Ah, okay. Until yeah, the police didn't ring the doorbell until he arrived home.
Hmm. What do we mean by no sooner?
No sooner it means nothing before, nothing happened before.
Not quite. No sooner means it's like saying hardly, but even more. No sooner had we arrived home. It's almost like saying as soon as we arrived home, this happened.
Ah,
It's like saying as soon as this, then this happened, right?
mhm.
The reason why I would say no sooner is because if I said this is the action, it's here. If I say as soon as something happened, this happened, right? So if I say as soon as we arrived home, the police rang the doorbell, right?
Mhm.
No sooner is right here.
Ah,
You understand?
okay.
So when I really want it, it's like hardly again. When I really want to push, as soon as we did this, this happened right behind it.
Mhm.
Okay? We don't really use this one. I was going to teach you, but no point. Only later, okay, did she really think about the situation. Okay? So I could say, oh, I have been studying Thai for 2 years, and it was only later did I realize how to write in Thai.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think I mean?
Why? For example, in this sentence, she didn't realize about this situation before until this happened.
It's not even until something else happened. It just means until later down, when more time went by.
Okay.
So she only then did she realize. Only later did she realize. Really think about the situation. It means at the moment, whenever this situation happened, she didn't realize. It was she thought about it, and then 2
When
months
the time
later,
passed.
exactly.
Oh,
Okay. This was great. Because you're here in New York, is it a lot?
nowhere have I ever had such bad service. Oh.
What does that one mean?
I have. She haven't ever had a bad service before until now.
Close. It's not saying it's not saying I've never had bad service. It said I've never had service this bad. Do you understand the difference?
No.
Okay. If I say I never had bad service, that means every time I've had service, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
If I say I've never had service this bad, I mean this service is really, really bad. The other service was bad sometimes, but not
It's
this
very,
bad.
very bad.
Yeah. And this one is kind of like using never. These are similar. I can say never had I ever had such bad service.
So they just the first time that they got a bad service.
If I say never, no. Now, be careful. It's not saying, once again, you're missing about one word. It's not saying I've never gotten bad service. I've never gotten service this bad. Right? When I add this bad, it's like saying this is really bad. This is worse. Worse than anything I've ever experienced. I give an example. I could say, okay, whenever I use this, and then I'm using it to support something like that, like good, okay, I'm almost saying like, this is the best I've ever had.
Okay.
This pizza is the best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I'll write another one. I could say, let's talk about the traffic thing. I could say nowhere. Okay. Nowhere have I, oh, sorry. Nowhere have I ever seen traffic this bad. Okay. And when I'm using to here, I'm using nowhere. I'm like, nowhere in the world have I ever seen it this bad.
Yeah.
And I'm using this to really amplify. I'm using this as an amplifier.
Yep.
This bad.
Mm.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Can you give me an example using nowhere and using this? And you can use it as positive or negative.
Nowhere have I ever seen nowhere have I ever think this kind of good atmosphere.
Close. You wouldn't say think. You say, nowhere have I ever experienced
Experience.
an atmosphere this good.
It's good.
Okay? You say, nowhere have I ever experienced an atmosphere this good.
Okay. Nowhere have I ever experienced the atmosphere is good.
In atmosphere
In
this good. Yes.
so I mean that in my life I went to many cafes, but I think here is the best atmosphere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
nowhere I ever had such bad service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it means before the time being, I also experienced bad service before, but this is very very bad.
This is the worst. Yes. This is kind of using this almost like a superlative.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Very very difficult.
Yeah, this one is a little tricky. Just think, you just put it in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll look, we're kind of using it. If you look here, we're using it in present perfect,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Little did he know.
Little did he know. He knows just a little.
Pretty much.
Really?
If I say, little do you know, I can speak Thai. That
Um,
means like, you didn't know this, but
yeah.
Okay.
Just a little.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Only in this way could John earn enough money to survive. Only in this way.
Okay. There is only one way.
Correct. This one's easy, right? In no way do I agree.
No, I totally. Oh no, I totally disagree.
Correct. If I say in no way, we also say in no way. You hear us say this a lot. No way, shape, or form. It's kind of like an idiom. You hear us. I'll say it a lot. In no way, shape, or form, okay, would I ever live in China. I tell people all the time, I would never live in China. In no way, shape, or form would I ever live in India. Right? That means never, like absolutely not. There's no way on the planet. It's not happening.
Okay.
I would never do it, right? I told my friend this morning, no way, shape, or form would I ever move back to the U.S. I told her that. I said, no,
Really?
never. Gosh, no. Those people are horrible. I can't stand Americans. So, on no account should you do anything without asking me first.
Okay, you have to ask me first.
Yep. But what does on no account mean?
No matter what.
Yeah, pretty much. Like in no situation should you not. Yes.
Yeah.
No matter
To
what.
back me in every case.
Yes. No matter what, you should do anything. You shouldn't do anything without asking.
Okay.
Okay. Good job. Any questions? These are a little bit trickier,
Yeah.
but if you look, besides this one, we're just trying to take out the no, because we don't a lot of times mean completely no.
Yeah.
We're very close to no, or very close to negative.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I use hardly I had got into bed, or Harry never have to be followed by had? Do you?
You saying hardly I got into bed?
Yeah. Can I?
No, I wouldn't quite understand.
I had.
Yeah, had I, and I really would put, and this is my fault. Hardly had I gotten into bed when the telephone rang.
Okay.
I would have used it as a past perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at a couple of differences. Example. So if you see here, they had never been to Paris. Never had they been to Paris. We already know that. This is how you can switch.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? He didn't speak a word. Not a word did he speak.
Yeah.
Right? And remember this.
It's more emphasized.
Emphasize, right? Using negatives. We seldomly read about the subject these days.
Seldom do we read about the subject these days.
Right? So you know these, remember this,
Yeah.
okay? Just want to give examples showing you how you can do negatives. Okay, so this is the last thing. Okay?
Modify.
Sometimes attach themselves to and thus modify words that they ought not to modify. When adverbing goes wrong, okay? I just want to show you an example because I know last week I showed you how you can pretty much change them all around.
Okay.
But there's a few times you always want to make sure you're thinking of your meaning, just like when we just talked. Never had service this bad, or never had service. Never what you were saying. I've never had service bad service, and I would say I never had service this bad. I'm using this as an extra adverb, right? And sometimes without that adverb, the sentence means totally something different. So we use this as an example. They reported that whatever the name is, a European rock star had died on the 6 o'clock news, right? On the 6 o'clock, right? And now, if we look at this meaning, it sounds like this rock star died while on national television on the news. Right? They reported that this European star had died on the 6 o'clock news, right?
Okay. It doesn't mean that he died at 6 o'clock, but I mean it's published.
Yeah, no, he was on the news that comes on at 6 o'clock, right?
Okay.
But then I can say they reported, okay, on the 6 o'clock news, a European rock star had died. Right?
Yeah.
Then it sounded like the news reported it,
Yeah.
and then he died, right?
Okay.
So just be careful because sometimes the adverbs can be placed in the wrong place, okay? The next one, she only grew to be 4 feet tall. Okay? It would be more clear to say she grew to only 4 feet tall. And this is a tricky one because technically they sound like they mean a lot. Grammatically, they mean slightly something different. Because we put only grew to be 4 feet tall, right? This one, it sounds like we're saying that's all she did. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep, she didn't go to work. She only grew to be 4 feet tall. That's the only thing she did in her life. You understand? This one, we're saying she grew to only 4 feet tall, focusing on how tall she grew.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to use, just showing you these sentences, the last thing today, what we did in this last page, showing you how we can use negatives and seeing how you can see the difference in meaning. Okay? He never visits. he seldom visits. What's the difference?
He never visit. It means he have he didn't visit here before.
Yes.
Yes, seldom visit. It means maybe just if rarely visit.
Yes, that's good enough. Yeah, if I say he never visits, he never does it. He seldom visits, means sometimes.
Yeah.
How would you say this in Thai?
In Thai
Yeah.
เขาไม่เคย
How would you say this in Thai?
ไม่ค่อย
See, so similar.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's what she does not eat anything. She really should be she hasn't eaten anything. Sorry. She hasn't eaten, I don't know, I like perfect tenses. Anything since, oh, I'm sorry.
Since okay.
Since, typo, my fault. The accident. Okay.
She hasn't eaten anything since the accident. Okay.
And then what's this one?
She hardly eats anything since the accident.
What's the difference?
The first one is mean after the accident, she eat nothing. Yes, but this one she can eat but just a little.
Yeah, she's eating just a little bit. Correct. So you understand this one. Correct. The last one, okay. After her long and tenuous lecture,
Tedious.
like tough, hard,
Oh,
challenging.
seriously?
Yeah. And not serious, be careful, not serious, like tough, hard, rigorous, excruciating, something that's really hard and tough.
Okay.
Okay?
Tedious.
Lecture. No one was awake.
No one was awake.
Uh-huh.
Like no conscious,
Yeah,
unconscious, right?
everybody was asleep.
Okay. After often married. Okay. The
Okay.
first one is mean not at all.
Yes.
Yeah, of the student. Yeah, was awake. But the second one is mean maybe just to few students in the classroom still awake.
Yes.
But most of them no.
Yep, and we wanted to emphasize, yeah, most people sleep, but there's a few still awake. Excellent job. Any questions on this?
No, I will actually review it and maybe have a
Okay.
conversation.